Hey, what's going on, y'all? I don't know what I'm gonna name the title of this video. I don't know what I'm gonna title it, but uh, the topic of this video is gonna be basically just about it's okay to be living with your parents still, at least in your 20s. Well, I guess in your 30s and above, it's probably situational slash yada yada yada, but at least in your 20s, it's perfectly okay to still live with your parents. Um, it's a normal thing, and especially now, it's becoming way more normal. But there's still like a massive stigma about it, and that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. So like I said, it's okay to still live with your parents, especially when you look at how the economy is now, with rising prices on basically everything. Food, basic necessities. Cost of living, like basically, like apartment rent, and fucking the things that also come with that, like utilities that come with that as well, if utilities are not included. Mortgage, of a house. You don't have to feel bad about being young and still living with your parents, because it's really not that bad of a thing. As long as you're still pulling your weight around the house, doing dishes, cleaning up after yourself, or just cleaning up in general, maybe help out, pay some bills or something. Whatever it may be, as long as you're living at the house and still helping around and pulling your weight and still being a responsible adult for yourself, I don't see anything wrong with that. And as long as, especially as long as you're at least going to school, or you have a job, or even both, you're set. Like, if you're going to school, right, and you're still living at home, at least you don't have to worry about having to work a job and go to school and then pay your bills. You don't have all those extra stresses. You just worry about school. But in my opinion, if you're going to school, at least I think you should at least try to work a part-time job to at least have some money. But that's just me. But I digress. But as long as you're working a job full time, hopefully, part time at least, you're gonna have money to come in to help out around the house. But not only that, but to save up. You'll be able to prepare for your future, right? You'll be able to have a nice little nest egg for when you're able to finally get out of the house. And as long as you don't overly spend your money on useless or stupid things, and kind of at least try to have some idea of how much you're putting away in savings. Usually people say 10-20%, but I personally aim for a little bit higher than that. But that's, if you're able to do that amount, right? Like, if you're not able to do that because of A, B, and C, then so be it. But at least aim for 10%. But I personally aim for 30 to 40%, if not 50. But that's just me. Like I said, most people say 10%, 15%, but my personal is 30, 40, maybe 50. But that's besides the point of what I'm talking about here. But if you save up, it gives you a massive opportunity to prepare for your future, right? Like, you're not having to spend $1,000, $2,000 a month on your fucking rent and then food and then everything else. That money that you normally would be spending on rent and food and all this when you're 18 or 19 years old, you're able to put into savings. Put that towards, saving up for a car. Put that towards, I don't know, saving up for an apartment, or saving up for, like, I don't know, putting down a down payment on a house. Whatever it may be. Whatever it may be, it gives you an opportunity to save up. And, it's not really realistic anymore to move out right at 18. Things are hard out there, and to be honest, our generation has to deal with a lot more hardships at our age group, like 20s, than previous generations had. We have a rising cost of living mixed in with a rising housing crisis, with a rising fucking youth unemployment, youth being like 16 to 25, 30 years old. you know? Like, that's a massive problem that's happening. The economy is just going to more and more on a downward spiral. And, throw climate change in there for a little top off for good measure, the cherry on top, and you just have a melting pot of problems for our generation. Something that previous generations never ever had to fucking worry about, And things are no longer the way that they once were, and I wanted to make this video because there's still a stigma, weirdly enough, around still living with your parents when you're in your 20s or whatever. It's things are no longer the way they were in previous generations, and I feel like that's something that a lot of people have to realize. It's no longer normal to move out at 18, get married at 20, have a house and a family at 25 with a well-paying career and job that you're going to work until the day you die, right? Or until you retire at 60. And then, live off and go live your life. No, that's not something that happens anymore for the average person. It might happen to some people now, but it doesn't happen to everybody anymore. Or at least the average person, it doesn't happen to like it used to. And people have to realize that. People have to understand that things aren't the way they once were, and things have changed rapidly within the last 50 to 60 years, in every sort of way, technology-wise, world issue-wise, climate-wise, everything, Like, things aren't what they used to be. And that's something that a lot of people tend to forget. So, yeah, I just wanted to make my video on that, just to remind some people that still struggle with either the feeling shitty about yourself or bad about yourself for your situation you're in, or feeling bad that you're living at home, or whatever it is. It's okay. It's normal. Even in some cultures, it's the normal to just stay at home for a long time. I think it's normal in Italy and stuff like that. In certain cultures and countries, it's the normal thing. But you got to realize that it's not, things aren't that easy, and the people that are moved out at this age, some of them, most of them, not all of them, are struggling. So as long as you just build up a good savings and just focus on your future and focus on just helping around and having things at least somewhat, try to have a goal and things figured out, set ahead, it'll be alright. Well, I think that's about it. I don't really think I have anything else to say on the subject. And yeah, see ya.